This is episode 141 of Hebrews in Exile with our honorable teacher, Robert B. Holman Jr. and Shawn Appleton. And we are joined by Tre Beverly to discuss the importance of the name of the Most High. We are a people that are connected to the Most High via the Most High's name. And if we do not understand the importance and the reverence and the respect that we need to give the Most High by just dignifying who the Most High is through the name that he's given to his people, then we are truly going to be lost. Let's explore this topic in this podcast, Hebrews in Exile. You know what we do. Let's go.
This is Rabbi Robert B. Holman Jr. and
Shawn Appleton.
And this is
Hebrews in Exile.
Hey, Shawn.
Yes, sir.
We have Tre with us again tonight.
Yes, we do. Mr. Ehyeh himself, in the flesh.
In the flesh.
In the flesh.
From what's this podcast? What's your handle?
Yeah, my podcast, my YouTube channel is Yahweh Hills, which is YHWH.HEALS11.
Now that's Tre. Mm-hmm. And there are two things in my mind tonight that I'm thinking about. One happens to be with the significance of understanding the importance of the Most High and his name. That's one. The other factor that we're going to delve in this podcast tonight, we're going to talk about young people and Torah. But as I was sitting and reflecting this week, and I'm still reeling off of last week. I'm still reeling from that. The way people look at being exposed to the name of the Most High. It's kind of like, as I looked at my audience, as I was explaining it to them, and after I got through, the way I was being perused, as my mentor, my past mentor would say, the way I was being eyeballed, told me that, these people, they're either caught off guard with the name, or they don't recognize the importance of the name. So when I take you somewhere in text that's not in your text, because it's not written there, it's kind of like, And then when I'm finished, the host, not the host, the person who was guiding the program for the day, she gets up and she says, but Yahweh sent his son, Jesus. And I'm going to myself, you haven't heard anything that I have said. And so when I think about this, I think about our people, melanated people in Christian churches. I'm not sure they even want to know about the significant importance of the Most High, as long as Jesus plays the dominant role in their theological understanding. Does that make sense to you?
Makes sense to me. 110%. I mean, you got, but that's been the MO of our folks for ages. And that's, the plight of the Most High and why he sends his prophets, so we can hear these things and acquiesce to them. There's always been a remnant. He's not been left without, or at least the Most High hasn't been left without a witness. So it doesn't, at least for me, I'm not necessarily shocked, but I think it gets back to what I guess gives me peace about it. If I'm ever put in those situations, and I know you're being cathartic about how you're feeling about it, but it's almost like, I'm coming back and I'm watering the seed. You planted a seed probably that a lot of people need to have somebody come back behind and water. And really, the right person to come back and water it is their leader of their congregation, which that ain't gonna happen. But
there's the point right there.
Mm-hmm.
It's a known fact that the majority of people that attend Christian churches do not have the wherewithal nor the ability to understand and study Scripture.
True.
Number one,
mm-hmm.
The first thing is they don't know what Scripture is. That's the first problem. They think that the New Testament is Scripture. Let me say this, and let me be very clear in what I'm saying to those of you that are listening. Everything from Bereshit to 2nd Chronicles in a Hebrew Bible or in any other Bible is the work and the inspiration of the Most High and those individuals that he has selected. Case in point, all of the principal players in those works are individuals who have been selected by the opulent Spirit to be a spokesman for the Spirit. So we go back and we're reading about Abraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Moshe, the prophets, the kings. All of those individuals have been handpicked by the opulent Spirit to be a spokesman for him. And they validate each other, and they have peers that are in harmony with each other. If we go to the Greek document, we have absolutely, positively, unequivocally no source that validates that the Most High has selected, authored, or anointed that document. Nothing. And with that being said, when you have a conversation with them about this, they can't wrap their head around the fact that I'm literally showing you out of the foundation of Scripture the abundance of the plethora of lies and the disconnect that the Greek text has with Scripture. Now, there's another point that has to come into play here, and that is you have to, if you cannot eradicate from their mind that there is no such thing as an Old Testament. There's no, first of all, first of all, there's no testament at all. So if there's no testament at all, it can't be old or new. It's not a testament. If you look at Bereshit to Devarim and the parts that are involved in it, they're the opening 5 books which embrace the covenant, the Brit. Mm-hmm. So I ask a question. If the Most High makes a covenant, can he break it?
No.
And everybody says no.
All right.
Well, Bereshit to Devarim is the covenant. Everything that he is going to do, everything that's going to happen, everything that he wants Hebrew Israel to adapt to is written in those 7 books. Mm-hmm. Oh, I said 7.
Oh, come on. Why did you say 7?
Why did you say 7? Why did I say 7?
Maybe in Bod Meat there's something in there.
Well, maybe because the writer in Psalms talks about the 7 pillars of wisdom. And that would be inclusive of the fact that there are 2 additional chapters in the book of Numbers. But that's a subject for another time. So we have a covenant. It's not old.
No.
Haven't passed away.
No.
But people have their mind locked into this idea that there's an old that has passed away and this new has taken its place, but this new is like fentanyl.
Yes. I agree.
Matter of fact, it is fentanyl. It's written and its design is to
Destroy.
Kill you, because that's what Greece and Rome want to do to the Hebrew people. And what better way to do it than to give them a document that would completely turn their heads. Now, this is systematic because Hebrew Israel has a cultural history, which makes it easy for me to sell you fentanyl.
Agreed.
Because you, Hebrew Israel,
man,
ever since you got out of the land and started smelling yourself, you decided that you wanted to be like the other nations. Mm-hmm. So if you want to be like the other nations and they snorting fentanyl, well, we want to snort some fentanyl too.
Man.
We want to be like you guys. We want to be like everybody else. I mean,
right.
human knees. We're looking at you guys, and man, you guys got
They want
you
that
guys got. I mean, you go up on the hill. You got obelisks up on the hill. You got trees up on the hill. Ooh, y'all go up there and y'all worship your God up on the hill. I can't say what I want to say.
Why not? Come on. Who's going to give you a spanking?
Doggone it. Doggone it. We can't see you. We can't touch you. You're not like come on now. We want gods we can see and touch and do all that kind of stuff. We want to be like everybody else. We don't want this silent, non-visible entity called God.
Omnipresent.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just what you said. He's omnipresent. So why are we, like you said before, why are we trying to reduce him to our level? And that's what we're getting in Christianity, where the Most High, which is in everything in existence, and we're trying to minimize him as a man and coming in somebody's womb and getting beat by his people, and yeah.
I mean, I think this issue really gets back down to where we've trying to educate. It's education. It's about doing things properly in context. It's about making sure that individuals, I mean, how we're brought into this is we're brought in on false pretenses. Like you said, we're brought in. We're like the proverbial crack baby. We're in the womb ingesting crack from the mother. And then when we come out, all we want is more of what we had before, which was in the womb, which is more crack, which the New Testament happens to be. That's why we try to go back and we say, okay, we look at this from a contextual standpoint. We can see the character of the Most High. We can see all these things that are germane to the Most High. That if we look at it, you will get the sense of pride. We talk about it all the time. We're the head, not the tail. We do this inherently, and people just don't know about it. You're the head of creativity. You're the head of this. You're the head of all of these different things. But yet and still, you want to seek your validation from a people who you're supposed to be leading. And that, right off the bat, is almost diabolical, and it's machination of trying to keep us. It's all, like I said, it's almost like a conspiracy that if these people actually found out who they were, we'd be in a world of hurt. That's why I have to go back and I say, when we look at the division or the culmination of the canonized New Testament, we're talking about Hebrew people from the beginning to the end. That's all this entire Bible is about Hebrew people. But what modern Christianity has done is made it about another. We're going to eliminate them. It's not about this select group of people anymore. It's about everybody. And everybody can be a part of this whole entire community underneath. If we establish something new over here, we have to get rid of what's over here to establish this new doctrine that's over here. And I think that's something that, again, if you're used to it, it's very hard to get off of it. It's a drug.
I mean, you look at the drug addict. The drug addicts are literally captivated by the drug.
Sure.
And as much as they want to get off of it, they almost can't, and very few of them escape it.
Yeah.
That's right. Even in the first part of that, in order for somebody, so let's do this. Let's just run this scenario. We always talk about, well, not always talk about, but if you had somebody that was addicted to drugs, the first thing that they're going to tell you is that you first have to admit that you're an addict.
Right, to heal, definitely.
And that's the point that we're trying to get people to realize, is that you're on something that you don't realize that is killing you. And because you don't want to, because it feels good. Every single weekend we come in here and you make me feel good. You give me this emotional orgasm where I can come in here and I can hear these words and they can tantalize and tickle my ears and tell me how great of a person I am. All the things that the Most High, literally at the end of the day is not really, he's concerned about the person, but at the same time, he's concerned about Hebrew Israel. And us coming to this understanding about who he is. But like I said, you're continuing to just feed this and this idea.
It's poison.
Right.
And then you look at a person like me who is given an opportunity to stand before these people, and then there's no way in Hades that I'm ever going to stand up before a group of people and not proclaim the opulent name of the Most High and the significance of his opulence over somebody who a document has said that the most powerful spirit in the world has given him a name that's above his name. I mean, Hades, no. No, there is no name greater than the Most High's name, Yahweh, Yod-Heh, Vav-Heh, that is written in our Hebrew scroll, in our Masoretic text, from which supposedly all Bibles are supposed to be written from, and which they are, except for the fact that the Greeks and the Romans have selectively taken his name out, so you would never know it. So once again, they that call upon the name of Yahweh will be saved. And if you don't know its name is Yahweh, you're never, ever going to be delivered. So we're just going to take it out so you can't be delivered. There's no place you can go to be delivered. Now, the fact of the matter is that, you know, as I said earlier, the majority of Christians, and I can say this because I spent from the cradle to, I don't know, maybe I was 70 before I realized that that stuff was just poison. When the Most High showed me the way out by bringing me to the Shabbat and understanding the Sabbath from there, it was a wrap from that point on. And then I began to study and look at Scripture in a deeper light. But once again, it is a known fact, that the majority of Christians that go to church listen to the pastor, and if you're listening to a lot of them, they're not teaching you Scripture. And so consequently, you get, as a matter of fact, I had an opportunity this week to have a conversation with a young man, and I asked him the question. I said, so why do people go to church? He's a young man. Why do people go to church? And he took a pause for a minute. He goes, I don't know. He says, because he doesn't go. He says, there's a lot of reasons why young people don't go to church. He says, suppose, I guess they go to get a inspirational, motivational uplifting. I go, exactly. I says, but you know what? I can get the emotional lifting by listening to a motivational speaker.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
A good motivational speaker can have me wound up and ready to knock down walls.
And you know, and technically that's what they end up becoming at the end of the day. That's what I see them as. They introduce some principles that are there, but it's what it turns into me on a Sunday morning. And I recently just went back and I just fellowship with some folks back where I'm from in the Mideast in Ohio. And as I listen to the sermons, they just sound like individuals that are using a source material, and they're going in there and they're doing a word search on keywords and picking those scriptures out that actually have, or the text that has those keywords wherever they may lie within the confines of the book, and using that as a springboard to talk about things that will keep people on the hook to get them back. It's about this cataclysmic, orgasmic, spiritual healing that they think they're going to get every single week when they come in here. Right. But again, that's because they've been trained from the womb to think that.
Yeah.
I've been there.
Yeah.
I've been there. I've done that.
Right.
I've been there and I've done that.
Yeah.
Topical preaching. Theme.
Yeah.
Theme preaching. Until I started looking deeper and I stopped studying for that. I started studying to teach, not to preach, which brought me into the area of expository preaching. Now, here's what you're not going to get in a Christian church. You're not going to get in a Christian church expository preaching. That's a dead animal. My old fathers, the old fathers of how I was raised up, many of them, that's what they did. They did expository preaching. In other words, they take a chapter and they'd run that chapter all the way down, not trying to move you emotionally, but teach you what the text is actually talking about. I learned from them. Now, when we look at this younger group, and we have to, I'm gonna kind of put an age group around it. And this is me speaking, okay? Because as I talk to people in this age demographic, they're more receptive to hear and open-minded to hear. And I'm going to start with an age group that's somewhere between their mid-60s back. This age group of people are more amenable to hearing truth and becoming enamored with it when you present to them the construct of its truthful origin versus that which is not true. Do you find that to be the case?
Yes, because I think that what is going to change and what is changing, far as the younger generation, is two things. I would say experience and education. You know, you talk about the book of Daniel often as knowledge is being revealed. So a lot of the youth from experience, they have watched a generation or a few generations of basically the more of the circus act, the more of the leaders not actually being aligned with the Most High's energy or explaining text correctly. So it's almost like they're at the level. I feel the generation's at the level now where we have that experience of seeing the hocus pocus, but now we're driving into the area of education. And that's where it's going to take men and women like us to be able to educate them of the details of how Christianity does not line with the Most High's word. Because like you talked about the fentanyl. And, you know, a lot of us have drugs that we are addicted to now and we don't even know it. A lot of us are addicted to processed sugar, and that's not good for us. A lot of us overeat on meat and certain things like that. And then we come to a point where we have to be honest with ourselves and realize that this is not good for us. And that usually comes from the education of information coming out of how this isn't good from us, from us growing up and it being normalized for so long. So that's the two things that I think is
help us.
Here
and that's interesting, because as I talk to young people are driven by knowledge.
Yes.
And I agree with you. They want to be educated. The young man says to me, he says, when he finds out who I am, he says, I'm open to learning. I want to learn. I want to learn things that I've never known before.
Nice.
And as I'm explaining to him the significant importance of who he is, for which the majority of Christians don't give a damn.
Yeah.
to understand you as a melanated person are the greatest creation that the Most High has ever created in his image and in his likeness. And you are his son, and you carry the DNA of your father. When you look at history and you look at how creative you are and how brilliant you are, and how that your brilliance and your creativeness is being stolen from you by another people so that they can have some self-worth. They're getting their self-worth from you.
Yes.
And yet and still you don't even want to be who you are?
Why?
You don't even want to recognize and even want to be identified with the Hebraicness of who you are. But you'd rather dance a jig, be stupid, call on a God that can't answer you. I'm going to say it, and I don't give a fat rat's.
Arse? A fat rat's arse.
I don't give a fat rat's tonight.
Shut the front door.
You would rather get your behind whooped,
Man.
destroyed, while you're calling up on a demigod that can't help you. And when somebody comes and tells you that there is a name, there is a power, that if only you would turn to that power and that name, your deliverance would be right at your fingertip. For what people are as great as you, Hebrew Israel, who have an Elohim as close to them because you obey my mitzvot, my laws, and my teachings that have me as close to you when you call me, but yet you don't want to even hear it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't even want to know it, but the young people do.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the problem with the young people is the young people don't know where to go to hear it.
Exactly.
They don't know where to go to get taught because they're only and they're telling me, I'm not going to church.
Yeah.
I'm not going to church.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
So how are they going to learn? How are they going to know? And you sit and you tell me, well, yeah, I heard Ye talk about that. Well, I'm sorry, but Ye don't know diddly.
Yeah.
He can't even defend himself.
Yeah.
He getting chewed, he getting sliced and diced by the Ashkenazis that I wish one of them would come after me. I just wish an Ashkenazi would come after me. I wish he would.
They don't want to do that.
I wish he would.
They don't want to do that.
I wish he would. Bring your European Khazar self.
Yeah.
Voting, adopting self.
Yeah.
That you made yourself a Jew. Bring your behind up here in my face and let's talk about this.
Yeah. Right.
Put me on blast.
Right.
I'm ready to go on blast. Put me on blast.
Right. Right.
And then tell me I'm anti-Semitic. I can't be anti-Semitic against myself. I know who my daddy is. And I know who my great-great-great-great-grandfather is. I can make a claim that you can't make. Because you can't make me, but you got all your ethnicity from me. And people don't want to know that truth.
Yeah.
That boggles me.
Yeah. See, it's interesting how you answer the question from your particular standpoint. I mean, I'm in the 40 and 50 year group, and I can tell you what the one thing that I continue to keep hearing from my side, that people that I engage with, is that the church, I don't want to go to church, or I don't want to know anything about it because of the trauma that I have from church. I've seen so many things inside the church not only from the top down, from the bishop to the back door, policy that's flawed, holding people germane to policies that have nothing to do with text, making people feel as though this and that, they're inadequate. And this is what something that a lot of people are saying, you know what? And then you're trying to come at me with this another text that I'm supposed to research and learn, and I don't feel like doing that. It has everything to do for them, those people, about the investment that they've made thus far. They're 40, 50 years deep into a teaching that they have, and they're saying, well, I'm fully vested over here. And then to go back and to try to learn something else new, I'll just ride this one out where I actually am. And then they also have this trauma from the fact that even when you come back and tell them who they are, they still won't believe it because they live in a westernized country that tells them that you are a melanated person and you ain't sure. At the end of the day, you will never become nothing. There's a glass ceiling around here. Anytime you think that you want to get high and mighty, and where you think you're going to go, we're going to pull you back down to where you actually need to be. So all these aspirations, you thinking about you running the world and you the most highs, whatever, that's granted. That's all fine and good. But that's not the reality of where you live in every single day. When I got to go out my door every single day and be worried, just like the text actually enumerates, actually in Deuteronomy 28, you'll be wishing it was nighttime and you'll be wishing it was daytime. You're wishing these days would just go by really, really fast because of the fact of all the oppression that you have while you're in exile. And that has something to, I think, in the younger people's generation, that's why they don't have some apprehension as to acquiescing to what it is, because it's all this trauma that comes from what the church imposes on people. And when people try to ask for a reasonable answer, I'll give you an example. There was you guys know that I like to sometimes, and I stopped doing this because it got on my nerves. I would watch YouTube videos of just these pastors talk about whatever they're talking about, just to get an idea. What are they saying that's hooking the ears of the people? And the issue, they had this one particular segment where the pastors were on stage. They had the youth pastor, they had the main senior pastor, and they had the associate pastors up there, and they were answering questions that the congregation had posed to them. And one of the questions was, why don't we worship on the Shabbat? Immediately kicked in all the lies that come out of the New Testament. They can't get a reasonable answer, because the answer that was given was because now that Christ has given the keys to the church, we can make decisions about what we want to do. And so we have, and the man literally sat there in the pulpit, senior pastor, and told everybody that we made the decision to change it to Sunday instead of Shabbat. It doesn't matter what day it is. As long as you hold a day holy, that's fine. So it's the teaching that young people are saying, I'm reading what's in here, and that's contradictory to what you're saying. Yeah. So,
and they'll just leave a lot of them.
And they'll just up and leave. Yeah. And that's where a lot of people are coming from. It's just like, there's so much false information out there. People don't know how to navigate to what's actually true or not. So they just quit.
I want to invest my energy. I want to go back to text. Moshe made a calculated error to send out 10 spies to reconnoiter the set-apart land. Mm-hmm. Most High did not tell him to do that. He sent with him, of the 10, 2 young men, Joshua and Caleb. Mm-hmm. Yeah. The old farts came back scared, shaking in their boots, and talking about how much of a giant that there was in the land, and how
like grasshoppers,
the land spewed people out of it, and blah, 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 blah. Scared. old folks. Old folks scared. Old folks are always scared of change. Joshua and Caleb, young people, stood up in the midst of the old folks, told Moshe, no, we are more than able to go up and take the land. Let's go. Young people say, let's go. You give me the information, you give me the knowledge, let's go. No, it's always been this way. This is the way I was taught. Mm-hmm. This is the way I was, and it's always been this way. And I'm too old. But darn it, don't change. It's okay. Let the young people go. So what did the Most High say? Moses said, okay, got a plan for you. Here's what we're going to do. And obviously, the number 40 is a maybe it's the demarcation line for the Most High. Because the Most High said, okay, here's what we're going to do. Okay? Read the text. It's in there. Everybody that reaches the age of 40 is just simply going to die. Mm-hmm. All 40 years of age now, and those that reach the age of 40, you are going to die in this wilderness. So my point is that y'all that don't want to receive the promise of understanding truth and understanding what the Most High has designed for you, you are going to die in this wilderness. And while I stood up in the face of people and told them that there's the Most High in the book of Daniel says that the books were open, the book of the righteous, the book of the wicked and the undecided, yet and still, the Most High knows those that are his. And there are those that are in the grave that were not privy to the prophecy of the opening of the book of Daniel in 1985, of which most people don't even know the book of Daniel opened in 1985, that are going to see the light of day. But every generation is subject to the knowledge of that generation. We are of the, I'm an octogenarian, but I am of the Daniel generation. I'm of the generation of the awakening of knowledge. Knowledge about what? Knowledge in general, but specifically knowledge about the Most High, the Yahweh of Hebrew Israel, and coming to grips with, I want to thank the Hebrew roots people, boy. If I don't ever thank anybody in my life, I want to thank the people who orchestrated Hebrew roots, because you gave me an opportunity to find out who my roots were and who I am. I thank you so much. Because in understanding who I am in text has helped me to be as animate and animated as I am about this subject. That's critical to my people. Now, I'm sitting here, as I said in last week's podcast, I'm sitting here feeling, I have all the emotional feelings that every prophet I've read felt like. I have the emotional feeling of Jeremiah, who was the weeping prophet. There's times I want to cry because my people are ignorant. They don't want to know. They don't want to grasp. And I'm seeing them perish because of the lack of knowledge. And then I'm on the other point. I'm on the other spectrum with Isaiah and with all the other prophets who are dealing with the fact the Most High sent me down here to tell you, Negro, something. And I'm telling you, and you don't want to get it, so I'm just going to tell you what's going to happen to you, and I'm going to let you and the Most High deal with it. And I'm walking away.
Yeah.
I'm walking away. You won't read. You're destroyed for the lack or the want of knowledge that you don't want it. And you'd rather face every idolatrous first day of the week and in insincerity, you want to talk about you love God? That's not even his name. But then when you grasp his name, you want to talk about Yahweh in insincerity when you don't want to do anything that he says. But you'd rather listen to a demigod that can't even be God. He can't do nothing. The prophet Yeshayahu, I can't get him out of my head. I can't get him out of my head. Who's like me? I'm the first. He didn't say I'm the Alpha and Omega. He said I'm the first. I'm the Aleph. I'm the top. I'm the first and the last. He says, beside me, there is no other power. The word God in text, the word El in text, does not mean God. Please understand, El, Elohim, does not mean God. It means power. The Most High is the only power in the universe that says, I am the power who created the heavens, the earth, and everything in it. Even I created the eternal people. To whom do you compare me? Who's like me? Whoever's like me, let him come and tell me the things of the past, the present, and the future. Come on, bring your behind up here and tell me. You can't do that. There is absolutely positively no text across in that diabolically unsubscribed, unanointed text called the New Testament where that demigod can testify anything about his Father other than to say, well, I only do those things I hear. No, you don't. You liar. You hypocrite.
He talk like that in the land, it's going to be a sight to see.
Even if he exists.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, because he's made up. He sure is.
I'm
Might as well talk about Pikachu.
My spirit is roasting at the fact that I'm watching and I'm looking like a prophet at our people, and our young people are suffering. Our young people are having a problem with this whole idea of not being able to know, learn, and understand truth because they are subjected to this minutia. And they're refusing to be New Testament crackheads. So they're just walking away.
Not his real name.
Okay, so you can't make open-ended statements like that. you're going to make some statement like that, you need to back it up with something else. You just can't be coming in here just talking and saying whatever you need to say to get your point across. The whole entire point is when we present stuff, and that's the whole entire thing of reasoning together, is when you present something that has some scriptorial back up to it, or you present something that somebody can research. So
first of all, Oris, let me tell you this. I'm not talking about Jews. I'm talking about the ethnicity of Hebrew Israel, whom Father Abraham is the origin of, who is written in the book of Genesis that says, go tell Abraham the Hebrew. Out of the loins of Hebrew comes the 12 nations of Israel. They're not Jews. They're Hebrews. Understand what I'm saying. If you're going to ask me a question correctly. Am I saying that all Jews are black? No, I'm not saying that all Jews are black. I'm saying all Hebrew Israelites are melanated people. That's what I'm saying. Because Father Abraham was, Moshe was, Yaakov was, Yitzchak was, his 12 sons were, and the whole nation of Israel were melanated people. Do your study, read it, then come and talk to me. Oh, I want you to come after me. Come and get me.
Right, and he's talking about...
And you're going to talk about Yahweh is not his correct name? Then you better bring me some proof of what his name is, because that's what's written in the Masoretic text. Yep. It's written Yod-Heh Vav-Heh. That's his name. And he said, that shall be my name throughout all generations.
Yep, go quote it. What is it, Shemot chapter 13?
Yeah, he just answered that. And if you talking about Yahweh, where we know his name is Yod-Heh Vav-Heh for sure, and we all agree that his name is Yah. So,
and if you got an issue with that, just use what's in the text, which says Ehyeh Asher Ehyeh.
That's what I'm saying. And then it abbreviates Yod-Heh Vav-Heh. So
even if you read it any further,
Yahweh, or you want to say Yahweh, or you want to say Yah, however you pronounce it.
The Most High said. The Most High said in text, I created the eternal people. The eternal people are not Jews. Jews are 1/12 of the Hebrew nation, which is properly pronounced Yehudim. They come from the tribe of Judah. The Hebrew nation of Israel is comprised of 12 sons. All of the sons are not Yehudim. Reuben is not a Yehudim.
But they all follow one law, and that's what matters.
That's what matters.
That's what matters.
That's what matters.
You know? Like
I'm sorry if I got a little. I'm sorry if I got a little heated there, but I mean, the issue is knowledge is important. Knowledge is important.
I am Hebrew. I'm not black, and yes, the Hebrews are black. Yeah, we never said all of them was.
Now here's the issue. Here's the issue. The Most High says in Numbers chapter 15:15 to Hebrew Israel, who are melanated people, there shall be one Torah, one law for you, Hebrew, and the foreigner who joins with you. So now, if foreigners join with us, then they become part of the Hebrew nation also. But they have to follow the same mandate that we have to follow. But who did the Most High give Torah to? He gave it to Moshe to give to the sons of Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, which were the 12 sons of the tribes of Israel, who come out of the loins of Father Abraham, who was a melanated man. That's what I'm saying. If we're going to trace our origin and we're going to trace our history, then let's trace our history all the way back to the origin of man. Man is made from the dust of the ground. Dirt has two major colors to it. We look at the word Adam, Adam. The last part of Adam is Dam. Dam means blood. Blood before it is ever associated with oxygen is very dark and black. Dirt is very reddish and very darkish color. That means that the man that was created in the image and the likeness of the Most High was an individual of dark skin color, out of which all ethnic groups come. It makes us the greatest people on the face of the earth because we can make other ethnicities that can't make us. And that can be traced back to scientific proof if we just deal with the issue of chromosomes.
And on a higher level than that, same with it is it's our spirit, because we all know that our bloodline and our tribe and our color is not. That's just not going to get us in the safe zone. So yeah, answer that one perfectly.
Hebrews and Jews are not the same thing at all.
What?
That's John Tate.
Hebrews and
That's Tate.
Oh, you talking about the Oxenazes?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I'm not talking about Oxenazes. Oxenazes fall into Genesis chapter number 10, where the origin of Ehyeh is, and in the origin of Ehyeh show up the Oxenazes. They are European. They are part of Gog and Magog that are going to be destroyed in the end of days by the Most High hell. Not talking about them at all. They voted themselves to be who they are. Isaiah says there are people who are called by the surname Israel. They want to be us, but they're not us. Understand? Well, hey, I've been heated up enough. I need to... I need to take
overload.
Y'all need to finish this up. Y'all need to finish this up.
No, you're going at a good clip. Because that was really what, before we got off into this issue over here on the board was, I hear your frustration. I hear where you're at. But, also at the same time, I also got to understand that the Most High has us in a place to where we're pontificating about these things and loudly so individuals can hear it. How did we hear it? Somebody had to bring it to us in order for it. Somebody asked you a question that got you to shift from Sunday sun worship to the Shabbat.
Somebody asked me, how come you celebrate, how come you worship on Sunday? I said, because I always have. Well, have you not heard that the Sabbath is the correct day to worship? I go, no. Have you heard of the book by Samuel Bacciocchi, From Sabbath to Sunday? By Bacciocchi? I says, no. He gave me the book. I read it, and I found out that the statement that you made, that the pastor said, we do this because we can, is the word that the Greeks, that the Roman Church wrote in their canons and said, oh, we changed Sunday to Sabbath, not by any dictate of God, but we did it because we could. I said, shut the front door. Mm-hmm. Who gave you the doggone permission to change the Most High's word, where he said, and my Sabbath shall be from generation to generation? Can he lie? And when do generations end?
And like when you spoke on the covenant, us Hebrews, we know that the Most High says this is his everlasting covenant.
Can he break his word?
No. That'd be breaking a mitzvah. You don't make oaths and break them. You can't. So it's one of those. But like I was saying, getting back to that issue, which is, I understand where we're at with all this, but people, they got to hear it some kind of way. And whoever's of the Most High is going to resonate with it.
Let me go back and get this.
We got something we got to deal with? Okay.
But skin color does not matter. It does not give you a special special place, I'm sure. Yahweh will take a person that loves him and obeys him over a dark-skinned person that does not love him and obey him. Absolutely. I'm not going to argue that point with you. The Most High is, let me tell you something. Let me tell you about the Most High. Oh my God.
Put a pin in that, because I'm going to come back to you, because I disagree. I'm going to go to war on this one.
You disagree?
This color thing, I got to.
Okay.
I got to deal with this color thing.
Let's hear it.
All right? Because we're quoting something that you can back up over here with this color thing. All of a sudden, out of the blue, when people start professing what's in text about the color of a people that the Most High is set apart, now it becomes a problem because they're black. You ain't got no problem going to the end of the grocer's aisle, seeing some white Jesus at the end of the grocery. I'm just going to say it. You got no problem with, the color has never come up before. But now we're trying to pinpoint scripturally in text, not to incriminate anybody. Let's first off by saying this. It has never been anybody's premonition coming off of this stage or on these microphones to ostracize a group of people because of color.
Right.
Has nothing to do with color. Text doesn't even talk about race.
Right.
Text talks about where an area where these people come from. Last I checked, the children of Israel were in Egypt. That's in the north coast corner of Africa. So I don't know why it becomes such of an issue of stating something that's a fact. And other than the issue that black folk are always going to be looked upon as being a downtrodden group of people. Period. The end of story. So I got a real issue with all of a sudden, when it's white, it's right. When it's black, it's wrong. And we've never ostracized anybody for that. If the nations want to join in league, text talks about that. If you know the mitzvos will tell you. If you want to join in league with Hebrew Israel, you will be treated just like a Hebrew Israelite. Period. The end of story. Has nothing to do with color. So I don't know why color keeps coming up in these particular conversations as a way to establish some type of supremacy. We're not being black supremacists over here or Hebrew supremacists. We're just stating what's in the text.
We're being factual according to text. What does the word pinkest mean?
Black skin, dark skin. That's what pinkest means. It means dark skin. Zipporah was a black woman. She was an Ethiopian Cushite woman. She married Moshe. These are melanated people. It's just stating a fact. If blackness is something that triggers you, I'm sorry that the Most High wrote in text that these are his chosen people. And that's what I alluded to earlier, is that you have this diabolical issue that happens over here in the New Testament, because what they realized in the Council of Nicaea in 325 is that this book is about Hebrews. And what we've got to do is not make it so exclusive to one group of people. Let's make it about everybody. So we'll make this character up that everybody can believe in. And once you believe in him, then that's the issue. And that's not how the Most High functions or operates. And that's germane to what's in text. I'm sorry. Go read it for yourself.
I'm gonna close this podcast tonight with these words. The Most High has talked about in the book of Isaiah, where he says, I created the eternal people. Now, you can go to Isaiah. It's between Isaiah chapter 40 and chapter number 49. It's written in those texts somewhere up in there. You can go read that in Isaiah. The Most High says, I created the eternal people. The eternal people are the Hebrew people, is the Hebrew nation of Hebrew Israel, whom he delivered out of the hands of Paro, out of Mitzrayim, delivered them and took them into the wilderness, set them apart to himself, gave them the Torah through the mouth of Moshe, passed it off to them, and then they were delivered into the promised land by Yahushua. Of those people that were the eternal people that the Most High created, They're not Israel. They're not Ashkenazi. They're Hebrew because Father Abraham is Hebrew as written in the text in, I forget now, it's Genesis.
Bereshit chapter 10.
Bereshit chapter 10 thereof. With that, the Most High has given to the opulent nation of Hebrew Israel the opportunity for foreigners that are not the eternal people to join with them. Love him. If you love me, you will keep my mitzvot. You will obey my laws, my rules, and my teaching. That's written all through the Hebrew text. The reason why we're even having this discussion tonight, and the reason why I'm so animated and upset, is because, number one, because my people have chosen to want to be like the nations, have caused us to be in this diaspora. I'm not supposed to be here in the first doggone place. I'm supposed to be in the land, in the opulent place that flowed with milk and honey that the Most High gave us. But because our ancestors were so in need of wanting to be like the nation, we're exiled to the four corners of the earth. That's where Hebrew Israel is, dispersed to the four corners of the earth. That's in text. Read it. It's there. The Most High is going to deliver to himself any group of people who love him, who govern their lives by his rules, his laws, and his mitzvot. Irrespective of what ethnicity you are, if you obey his laws, his rules, and you live your life according to his expectation, he is going to deliver you to himself. That is written in text. And this has been Rabbi Robert B. Holman Jr. and
Shawn Appleton.
And thank you,
Tre Beverly.
This has been Hebrews in Exile.
Shalom.